Growing up in the 1970s was a wild ride. Imagine your favorite TV show suddenly getting canceled without warning. Remember the gas line stretching for miles? That wasn't just a minor inconvenience. It was a sign of something much bigger. Picture the fear of not knowing if you'd get to school on time or if your parents would make it to work. But there was more. Behind the fun music and groovy fashion, there were real dangers and mysteries that could send chills down your spine.
And I'm very nervous about my first day of school, and I say to my dad, I'm scared of the boys, they're gonna be nasty to me and blah, blah, blah. And my father, in a very Brooklyn way, said, go find the biggest kid and just knock him out. And I was like, knock out the biggest kid.
Ready to relive the thrills and fears of the 70s? The last school bell. The final bell of the school year rings out, a joyous and liberating sound that echoes through the halls. It's a signal that the long-awaited summer break has officially begun. Your heart races with excitement as you scramble to pack up your desk. Pencils, erasers, and notebooks are hastily stuffed into your backpack. You take a last look around the classroom, your eyes meeting those of your friends and teachers. "Goodbye, have a great summer," you shout, waving to everyone as you make your way to the door. There's a shared energy in the air, a mix of relief and anticipation. The hallway is buzzing with chatter and laughter as students spill out of classrooms, all with the same destination in mind: freedom. You rush outside, pushing open the heavy school doors, and are immediately greeted by the warm summer sun. The bright light and the gentle breeze on your face feel like an invitation to endless adventures. The playground that was once a place of recess routines now looks like a kingdom of possibilities waiting to be explored. You can hear the sounds of joy all around you, friends calling out to each other, bikes being unlocked, and the faint hum of summer's promise. The world outside the school building seems bigger, brighter, and full of potential. You breathe in deeply, the scent of freshly cut grass mixing with the distant smell of blooming flowers, and you know this summer will be one to remember. That first Monday of freedom. The first morning of summer truly feels like freedom. You wake up on a Monday, but there's no alarm clock blaring, no rush to get dressed, no school bus to catch. Instead, you open your eyes to the gentle sunlight streaming through your window. The house is quiet, and for a moment you just lie there, soaking in the feeling of unbounded freedom. It's a strange but wonderful sensation. Usually, Mondays mean dragging yourself out of bed, but today the bed feels softer, the room brighter. You stretch lazily, smiling at the thought of a whole day, no, a whole summer, stretching out before you without a single obligation. You finally get up, padding to the kitchen where the comforting smells of breakfast greet you. The table is set with familiar favorites, a bowl of cereal, some toast, and a glass of orange juice. You sit down and enjoy your meal slowly, savoring every bite. There's no rush, no gulping down breakfast to make it to school on time. Each moment feels like a small luxury. As you munch on your toast, you think about the endless possibilities the day holds. Maybe you'll ride your bike to the park, meet up with friends for a game of baseball, or just explore the neighborhood. The day is yours to shape, filled with the promise of adventure and discovery. The feeling of freedom is exhilarating. You glance outside and see the sun climbing higher in the sky, inviting you to come out and play. This is what summer is all about. Waking up to days that are entirely yours, filled with opportunities to explore, play, and simply enjoy being a kid. The exciting outdoor events. Summer in the 1970s was all about outdoor adventures. As soon as you finished breakfast, you dashed outside, ready for a day of non-stop fun. The sun was already warming the sidewalks, and the whole neighborhood felt alive with the buzz of summer activities. You and your friends would gather in the street, your bikes lined up like trusty steeds ready for a day of exploration. Riding bikes around the neighborhood was a favorite pastime. You'd race each other, feeling the wind in your hair and the thrill of speed as you zoomed down the block. Sometimes you'd ride to the local park where the swings and slides awaited. Other times you'd venture further, discovering new streets and hidden corners of your town. Building forts and tree houses was another beloved activity. You'd find the perfect spot, a sturdy tree or a quiet corner of the backyard, and gather materials. Old sheets, wooden planks, and anything else you could scrounge up became the building blocks of your fortress. Hours would pass as you hammered, tied knots, and decorated your new hideout. Once finished, it became your secret base, a place where you and your friends could escape into your imagination. Exploring the woods or local parks offered a different kind of adventure. The woods were a world unto themselves, filled with the promise of discovery. You'd follow trails, climb over fallen logs, and peer into creeks, always on the lookout for something new and exciting. Whether it was spotting a deer, finding a cool rock, or just enjoying the shade of the trees, these moments felt magical. Games like tag, hide and seek, and hopscotch filled the afternoons. The rules were simple, but the fun was endless. You'd dart around the yard trying to avoid being tagged or find the perfect hiding spot where no one would think to look. Hopscotch squares drawn in chalk on the sidewalk became arenas of skill and balance, with each jump bringing a cheer or a groan. As the day stretched on, you played outside until the streetlights came on. This was the universal signal that it was time to head home. Reluctantly, you'd say goodbye to your friends and make your way back, tired but happy. The evening air was cooler, and the sounds of crickets began to fill the night. You'd go to bed with a smile, already dreaming of tomorrow's adventures. Bonding with friends in the neighborhood. Summer in the neighborhood meant forging bonds that felt like they'd last forever. As soon as the morning sun warmed the streets, you and your friends would gather for impromptu games. It didn't matter if it was kickball in the park, a game of basketball in someone's driveway, or a water balloon fight on someone's lawn. Fun was always guaranteed. Laughter echoed through the streets as you competed, strategized, and celebrated victories together. The vibe among friends was palpable. You shared inside jokes, traded baseball cards, and swapped stories about your latest adventures. Each day brought a new challenge, a new prank, or a new idea for fun. Whether you were building ramps for your bikes, planning a treasure hunt, or simply hanging out on someone's porch, every moment was filled with a sense of belonging and excitement. Sleepovers and backyard camping were the highlights of summer nights. On warm evenings, you and your friends would pitch tents or roll out sleeping bags under the stars. The backyard transformed into a campground, complete with ghost stories whispered in hushed tones, marshmallows roasted over a makeshift fire, and the comforting presence of friends by your side. Even if you didn't sleep much, the experience of spending the night outdoors with your closest friends was unforgettable. Playing board games and card games provided hours of entertainment on lazy summer afternoons. Whether it was a strategic game of Monopoly or a lively round of Go Fish, these games brought friends and family together around the kitchen table, fostering friendly competition and laughter. Building forts out of blankets and pillows transformed living rooms into magical hideaways. Using chairs, cushions, and imagination, you created secret forts where adventures unfolded and stories came to life. Inside these makeshift castles, you could escape into worlds of your own making, protected from the outside world. As the summer days turned into weeks, your neighborhood friendships grew stronger. You learned to trust each other, to rely on each other, and to support each other through the ups and downs of childhood. Whether it was celebrating a birthday, cheering each other on at the local baseball game, or simply sharing a popsicle on a hot afternoon, these friendships became the foundation of your summer memories. The joy of ice cream and treats. In the 1970s, summer wasn't complete without the sweet melodies of the ice cream truck echoing through the neighborhood. As soon as you heard the jingle, you and your friends would drop everything and sprint to catch it. The excitement was palpable as you lined up, eagerly awaiting your turn to order your favorite frozen treat. Push Pops, popsicles, and drumsticks were the stars of the ice cream truck. Each treat held its own allure. The Push Pop with its twist-up flavors, the popsicle with its rainbow of colors, and the drumstick with its irresistible combination of chocolate nuts and creamy vanilla inside a crunchy cone. Every bite was a taste of summer bliss, savored under the shade of a tree or on the steps of your porch. Homemade popsicles were another summer staple. You'd fill ice cube trays or plastic molds with fruit juice or flavored Kool-Aid, eagerly anticipating the frozen delights they would become. As they hardened in the freezer, you'd count down the minutes until they were ready to eat, their icy sweetness cooling you down on hot afternoons. Lemonade stands added a touch of entrepreneurship to your summer routine. Armed with a pitcher of lemonade and a stack of paper cups, you'd set up shop at the end of your driveway or on the corner of your street. Passers-by, neighbors, friends, and even strangers would stop for a refreshing drink, chatting with you as they quenched their thirst. The satisfaction of earning a few coins for your efforts was sweet, but the memories of those sunny afternoons spent chatting and pouring lemonade were even sweeter. Memorable family road trips. Family road trips in the 1970s were a blend of excitement, anticipation, and the occasional bout of boredom. As soon as school lets out for summer, you and your family would pack into the car, ready to embark on a journey to visit relatives or explore new destinations. Long car rides became an adventure in themselves. You'd settle into the back seat surrounded by pillows and blankets with a stack of books, games, and snacks to keep you entertained. The monotony of the highway was broken by scenic vistas, quirky roadside attractions, and the occasional stop at a gas station or diner that became a memorable part of the journey. The fun of being in the back seat meant playing travel games like I Spy or license plate bingo, counting the miles until the next landmark or destination. There were moments of camaraderie as you and your siblings shared secrets, snacks, and stories, and there were moments of boredom when time seemed to stretch endlessly. Roadside attractions added unexpected delights to the trip. Giant fiberglass dinosaurs, quirky museums, and historical landmarks beckoned from billboards, tempting your family to pull over and explore. These stops became mini adventures, filled with laughter, discovery, and the chance to stretch your legs after hours on the road. Picnic lunches were a cherished tradition during rest stops. Your family would unpack sandwiches, fruit, and homemade snacks, spreading out a blanket or finding a shady spot at a roadside park. The simple pleasure of sharing a meal together surrounded by nature or unfamiliar scenery created lasting memories of togetherness and adventure. The delightful camping trips. Camping trips in the 1970s were a gateway to adventure and a chance to connect with nature like never before. As soon as the weather warmed, your family would pack up the car with tents, sleeping bags, and supplies, ready to escape into the great outdoors. Setting up tents was the first order of business upon arrival at the campsite. You'd stake out a spot under a canopy of trees or near a tranquil lake, eager to create your temporary home in nature. As poles clicked into place and canvas stretched taut, the tent became a cozy retreat, promising nights filled with the sounds of crickets and the rustling of leaves. Campfires were the heart of every evening. As dusk settled over the campground, you and your family gathered around a crackling fire. Sparks danced into the night sky as you roasted marshmallows on sticks, the sweet scent of caramelized sugar filling the air. S'mores were a ritualistic treat, graham crackers sandwiching gooey marshmallows and melted chocolate, enjoyed under a starlit canopy. During the day, you'd explore the wilderness surrounding your campsite. Fishing in nearby streams or lakes was a favorite pastime, casting lines and patiently waiting for a bite. Hiking trails offered vistas of towering trees, babbling brooks, and glimpses of wildlife. Each step brought a sense of discovery, whether it was finding a hidden waterfall, spotting wildflowers, or identifying animal tracks in the dirt. As night fell, ghost stories emerged from the darkness. Sitting close to the fire, shadows flickering across your face, you'd listen wide-eyed as tales of haunted forests, mysterious creatures, and local legends unfolded. Every rustle of leaves or the distant hoot of an owl added an eerie ambiance to the storytelling, creating a thrilling blend of excitement and apprehension. Those hot, lazy afternoons. Lazy afternoons in the 1970s were a time to escape the heat of the summer sun and indulge in the simple pleasures of relaxation. As the day reached its peak, you sought refuge in the cool shade of your backyard or the comfort of a breezy porch. Reading comic books was a favorite pastime during these quiet hours. You'd sprawl out on a blanket or a lawn chair, eagerly flipping through colorful pages filled with superheroes, villains, and thrilling adventures. Each panel transported you to a world where anything was possible, where heroes triumphed and justice prevailed. The radio provided a soundtrack to your lazy afternoons. Whether tuned to the latest hits or your favorite DJ's chatter, the music filled the air with melodies that matched the rhythm of the swaying trees and the lazy hum of insects. Songs became anthems of summer, evoking memories of carefree days and endless possibilities. Taking afternoon naps was a cherished indulgence. The heat of the afternoon sun lulled you into a state of drowsiness, and you'd find yourself drifting off to the sound of cicadas and distant laughter. The world slowed down as you sank into dreams, your mind wandering through realms of imagination before awakening, refreshed and rejuvenated. Lounging around became an art form on lazy afternoons. Whether on a hammock strung between trees or sprawled out on a picnic blanket, you'd watch clouds drift lazily across the sky, tracing their shapes with idle fascination. Time seemed to stretch endlessly, allowing you to savor each moment of peace and tranquility. Lazy afternoons in the 1970s were a retreat from the hustle and bustle of daily life, a time to recharge, reflect, and reconnect with the simple joys of being. Whether immersed in a comic book, lulled by music on the radio, or drifting into dreams during an afternoon nap, these moments of leisure provided a sanctuary of calm amid the warmth of summer's embrace. The evening activities. Evenings in the 1970s were a magical time when the day's heat gave way to cooler breezes and new adventures under the twilight sky. As the sun dipped below the horizon, you and your friends would eagerly await the start of evening activities that added a touch of wonder to summer nights. Catching fireflies was a favorite pastime as dusk settled over the neighborhood. Armed with mason jars or simply cupped hands, you'd chase after the flickering lights, their gentle glow illuminating the darkness. Each firefly caught was a tiny beacon of magic, a reminder of the enchantment that summer nights could bring. Playing flashlight tag added an element of excitement to the evening. Armed with flashlights, you and your friends would dart through yards and alleys, shadows dancing as you sought to tag each other with beams of light. Laughter echoed through the night as you hid behind trees, dashed across lawns, and tried to outwit your opponents in the friendly competition. Backyard barbecues and family gatherings brought everyone together under the starlit sky. The scent of charcoal and grilled food filled the air as you gathered around picnic tables or lawn chairs. Plates were piled high with burgers, hot dogs, and corn on the cob, while stories and laughter flowed freely. These gatherings were more than just meals. They were moments of connection and camaraderie, shared with loved ones against the backdrop of a summer night. Watching the stars was a serene and awe-inspiring activity. Whether lying on a blanket in the backyard or perched on a rooftop, you'd gaze up at the twinkling constellations, tracing imaginary patterns across the vast canvas of the night sky. Occasionally, the sky would light up with the burst of fireworks, marking special occasions and adding bursts of color to the darkness. The summer jobs and chores. Summer in the 1970s meant taking on responsibilities, whether it was earning a bit of extra cash or pitching in with household tasks. These activities not only taught valuable skills, but also provided a sense of independence and accomplishment. Mowing lawns, babysitting, or delivering newspapers were common summer jobs. Mowing lawns meant dragging out the mower early in the morning, the scent of freshly cut grass filling the air as you maneuvered around flower beds and pathways. Babysitting involved caring for neighborhood kids and keeping them entertained with games and stories while their parents were away. Delivering newspapers meant rising before dawn, cycling through sleepy streets to drop papers on doorsteps, rain or shine. The sense of responsibility that came with these jobs was palpable. Whether it was ensuring lawns were cut evenly, children were safe and entertained, or newspapers were delivered promptly, you took pride in completing your tasks diligently. Earning your own money brought a newfound independence. You could save for that new bike or treat yourself to a special outing with friends. Helping with household chores was also part of summer routines. Washing dishes, sweeping floors, or helping with laundry were tasks that contributed to the smooth running of the household. While sometimes viewed as chores, these activities instilled a sense of responsibility and teamwork within the family. The reward for completing chores or finishing a summer job was free time to spend with friends, explore new places, or simply relax and enjoy the long summer days. Whether it was playing games in the park, visiting the local swimming pool, or embarking on spontaneous adventures, these moments of leisure were a well-earned break from responsibilities. Back-to-school preparations. As the lazy days of summer began to wind down in the 1970s, a bittersweet feeling settled in the air. The sun-drenched afternoons and endless adventures were coming to an end, making way for the excitement and apprehension of a new school year just around the corner. Shopping for new school supplies and clothes was a rite of passage that marked the transition from carefree summer days to structured school routines. The aisles of the local department store were filled with notebooks, pencils, crayons, and backpacks in an array of colors and designs. Choosing the perfect supplies was a mix of practicality and personal style, each item a promise of new beginnings and academic possibilities. Trying on new school clothes brought a sense of anticipation and identity. Whether it was picking out a favorite pair of jeans, a crisp shirt, or comfortable shoes, each outfit reflected a blend of fashion trends and personal expression. The anticipation of wearing these new clothes on the first day of school added a touch of excitement and confidence, even as nerves about the upcoming academic challenges lingered. The anticipation and nervousness of starting a new school year were palpable. For some, it meant entering a new grade level with unfamiliar teachers and classmates. For others, it meant navigating a new school altogether, with its own hallways, classrooms, and routines. The weeks leading up to the first day were filled with mixed emotions: excitement to reunite with friends, apprehension about meeting new teachers, and the hope of making this year a memorable and successful one.